Good afternoon, Universal Parenting Place and Knowledge Quest community. My name is Sarah Ledbetter. I am one of the yoga teachers in residence here, you could say, and we are coming to you today with a practice for the middle of your day to help you tap into a feeling of being supported. I know if you are a woman, if you are a parent, if you are a child, if you are a sibling, if you're going through a pandemic, then you know that tuning into what it's like to feel supported is so important right now. So we're actually going to start, before we get started, I want to make sure you have two props that we're going to be using today. I am using two mats for this, but you could just as well use a blanket, a towel, a couch cushion. We want one that's going to be a little bit longer and lower. So I've got a mat folded into 8s. And then another one that's going to be just a little bit thicker that's going to go underneath the back of our head. Go ahead and find those and set them somewhere nearby. This practice has some supported poses and some active poses. So it's a pretty good blend of what we might call yin and yang, or masculine and feminine, active and restorative. So once you have those props and you've set them on one side, we're going to start out standing. And we're going to take this moment to officially let the first half of our day stop. Let it go before we begin this next half of our day. If you're like me at all, sometimes the work of my day can feel like I'm holding on and carrying a lot of stuff. Just pretend for a second. Maybe if you have little children practicing with you, they're going to help encourage you to step into that make-believe. We're going to imagine we were holding our whole day, our whole world up and in and up. And we're going to take a big breath in while we hold in and hold up, maybe even letting the face and the shoulders. We're going to breathe in. We're going to hold it for 3, 2, 1, and gently let it down. And because practice makes perfect, we're going to do that twice more. So we've let some things go. We're going to let 2 more layers of stuff go. Maybe you're holding something. Maybe you're holding something back. You're holding something back and in. Take a big breath in, squeezing. 3, 2, 1. And gently let it go back. And then we're going to do one more layer. We might imagine we've been carrying our own mood, trying to stay up. Let's imagine we're trying to hold ourselves up and together, breathing in and hold it. 3, 2, 1, and gently releasing and letting down. Okay? So the next step is for us to go ahead and lie down on our mats. I'm going to keep the time for you. You're going to give yourself a good 3 minutes to be completely supported by the earth. Letting your heels get about as wide as the mat. Letting your arms get even wider. And if that hurts your lumbar at all, let those legs bend, let the feet plant on the earth. If you prefer to be on your belly, that's perfectly fine too. Let yourself all the way down. We're going to take a moment to just settle in and down. Maybe letting those eyes close. And then take a moment as you're there. Y'all, we're live on Facebook with a yoga video. Just wanted to let you know your voice may be carrying on to the community. And see if you can start to let your ears turn inward for the sound of your breath. Maybe even noticing the sensation of your heart beating. And I'm going to invite you to ask yourself this question. What do I know about being supported and what it's like to feel fully supported? If a visual comes to mind or the face of someone you love, just notice. Breathe that in to the cells of your body, allowing that support to be here with you now. Notice that the back of your body is fully supported by this precious earth. We're going to stay here for just 4 more full, complete breaths. Let's take one last easy, complete breath from the nose down into the heart and belly. Let your exhale pour down and out through the legs and the soles of the feet. If that's a lot of doors opening and closing, I hope my yoga teaching audience is able to stay nice and focused. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet to the ground now and gently roll to your right side, finding your way gently up to seated. To set up for a supported pose now using those 2 props that you went ahead and got for yourself or that you need to go get now. We're going to start with the low, long, soft prop. This is going to go underneath my spine. So I'm going to set it up. I'm going to show you sideways. So I'm going to go sideways across my mat so you can see. Here's my long, low prop. And here's my slightly higher prop for the back of my head. And again, you might want to switch these up once you see what I'm doing. Always trust your own body's intelligence. So I'm going to come to seated in front of the long, low prop. Notice I'm sitting on the ground, not on the prop. And take my hands back behind me. I'm going to gently turn my tailbone towards my feet and ease my vertebra down one at a time and then adjust this so it comes to the back of my head. My spine is supported, my rib cage should feel nice and open. And the arms are in an easy low V with a soft bend at the elbow. The feet can stay on the ground, or you might lengthen the legs and let them spill open if that feels fine for your lumbar. Then we're going to let the eyes turn down towards the tips of the nostrils and then from there gently close. And from here, call to mind the feeling of being completely supported. I'm talking about the kind of support you don't have to earn, you don't have to pay for it in some way. Unconditional, loving, nourishing support. Let your attention start to broaden and soften towards the back tissues of the body. And let's breathe evenly in this position. So we're going to breathe in for 4 and out for 4 at your own pace. If you're just tuning in now, this is our supported pose. Equal ratio breath in and out through the nose for 4 counts. Each breath softening the tissues just a little bit more. Three more rounds of equal ratio breath. And then gently help yourself down to the right side once more. Transition into seated and bring one of these props in underneath your sitting bones. To take a moment to come into simple cross-legged and just notice how your breath feels through the chest, the back, and the throat. Some of the effects of that pose can be an expanded breathing range. Now we're going to stay seated for just a moment longer while we do a few movements for the eyes. Sometimes already at midday the eyes have begun to show signs of fatigue. So if you're wearing glasses, you might take them off for this. Notice that we're going to keep our head level, but we're going to take our eyes to high noon and 6 o'clock 5 times, keeping the nose right where it is, beginning now. And then we'll go from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Keeping the head right where it is 5 times, last one. And then we'll go from 2 to 7. Make a slow clockwise circle, starting at the tip top. You might find that there are jumps. It's not going to be smooth the very first time that you do this. Nice and slow, coming around. And then we'll go twice more, a little faster and easier. Same direction. Keeping the nose right where it is. And then we'll go slowly in the other direction, counterclockwise. Make sure you're still breathing. I sometimes hold my breath because I'm focusing so hard. Yes, even yoga teachers forget to breathe. Wrapping up that first slow round, and now last two, going a little bit more quickly and easily. Good job, y'all. If you're like me, your eyes feel a little funny. You can tell you've done something. We have one more focusing exercise. We're going to extend a thumb in front of us. Use your eye muscles to gently find a directed focus. That's when your eyes ignore everything else and they take in one point on the thumbnail. And now, without moving your head or your eyes much at all, focus on the furthest point you can see just beyond the top of your thumb. Feel how your eyes do that. Bring it back to the thumbnail. And now we're going to shift to open focus. Let your eyes go soft. Feeling the center becoming no more important than the periphery. Taking in the whole space. And gently release the thumb. Now we're going to give the eyes a nice warm massage. Warming up the hands. Closing the eyes and then just gently radiating warmth and love deep into the eye sockets with the eyes closed. Ah. Let's go ahead and release those hands now. So those exercises have been used by yogis for centuries to preserve and protect eyesight well into old age. So you might want to share that with other people in your family. And now we're going to find our way onto all fours position, sliding our props out of the way. And I'll show this sideways. Once again, easier to see. We're going to come into a little flying cat and cow. So the hands, strong hands, are spreading like the roots of the trees into the ground. If your wrists don't like this position, you can always come onto forearms instead. And if being on your knees is not safe for you, you can always use a low table to do what we're going to do, which is opposite arm and leg are going to extend on the inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to round the elbow towards the knee. Okay, so I'm going to show this from the ground. We're going to breathe in, right arm and left leg, lifting the gaze. Exhale. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last time out. Then on the exhale, place your right hand down, exhale the knee in towards your chest, and help yourself come forward into a lunar lunge. If you're standing, you'll be in a standing lunge. Knee is right above the ankle. Fingertips are going to stay heavy throughout. As we inhale, we're going to drape the wrists forward. As we exhale, we're going to gently Draw the elbows and wrists back. Breathing in. I'm gliding the knee just slightly in front of the ankle. Twice more. Then we'll take a big breath in, reaching. And exhale, frame that front foot, stepping back, all fours. And then this time we'll inhale the left arm and the right leg. Exhale. Breathing in. Nice even inhales and exhales. Last full round. Then we'll breathe in, getting long through the front body. Exhale the hand down, exhale that knee in towards the chest, stepping forward. Knee right above ankle, easy heavy fingertips, breathing in, breathing out. Drawing those elbows right back. So we're harmonizing our inhale and our exhale. Last one. Then we'll take a smooth inhale. And we'll exhale, framing. Replacing your foot with your hand. Step back, curl the toes under, and exhale, reach the thighs up away from the hands, lengthening your down dog by walking back about 4 inches per foot. Allow your hair to hang, let the knees bend as much as you need to find a smooth, long, breathing spine. 3 breaths. And then we'll walk the hands towards the feet and the feet towards the hands. Sweep the tailbone down and begin slowly rolling up through the spine. Now we're going to make our way towards a wall where we can anchor our back heel. So the way I'm going to do this is stand about 4 feet away from the wall and just test out my distance by shifting the weight onto the right foot and reaching back with the left leg. And I'm going to really push into that wall so that we can experiment with what it's like to feel fully supported. We usually find we can go to a more refined place when there's more support available. So if you need to adjust that distance, for me it was just a little short, so I'm going to come forward a little bit. You might have to make adjustments too. We're going to be coming into our high lunge with the support of the wall. And we're going to use our arms to deepen the breath into the heart on an ah sound. Something we do a lot in my class if you're one of my regulars. So the first ah is going to open us into cactus. The second ah is going to open the elbows straight back with the palms next to the waist. Okay, so let's start standing in mountain. Take a big, smooth breath in. And as you exhale, take the left foot in to balance and reach back, taking your time to make sure that the right heel and the left heel are sitting bone distance apart so that your belly can face forward. Feel into the support, reaching back through the back leg. And we'll begin. Inhaling. Inhaling. Exhale to step forward and stand in mountain pose. Second side, inhaling the right leg up into balance. Exhaling to step back. Finding that heel, taking a moment to align. Really reach into the wall. And inhale. Exhale, stepping forward and standing in mountain pose. From here, let's bring the hands together in prayer for half sun salutation. Breathing in. Exhale, clasp the hands behind your back, easy head, easy knees. Breathing in, draw the elbows towards each other, lengthen the legs and the spine. Exhale, soften. Breathing in, tailbone roots down, palms spin open and lift. Exhale. Remember that the exhale and the inhale are of equal importance. Clasping the hands, releasing the hair. Breathing in, long flat back. Exhale, softening. Reaching out, rising up slowly, no need to hurry. And exhale. One last round, dears. Breathing in, root down through the legs. Exhale, separate the sitting bones, clasping the hands. Breathing in, standing your ground. Exhale, softening into support. Breathing in, reaching out, rolling upwards, climbing tall. We'll bring one hand to the front of the chest, one hand to the front of the belly, and just notice. Notice what it's like for you to be here. All right, so we're going to set up for a supported pose using this wall. This will be our last pose that uses the wall. I'm going to show you what this looks like standing, but you're going to be doing it reclining. So, when we come onto our backs, we're going to lengthen up through the arms. Then we're going to see if we can bring the hands behind the head and take a side bend. But it'll feel a little different because we'll be on the ground. So I just wanted to give you a sense for what that's going to look like. And if I want to go further, I'll be walking my feet even further to the side to take it just a little bit deeper. So that's to give you a little preview. So you'll find your way down to the ground. Clearing your props away to either side. standing with the heels sitting bone distance apart. Feet are really planting into that sense of support. We'll inhale the arms all the way up overhead, reaching hands and feet away. And then on an exhale, bring the hands to the back of the head, lift the chin towards the chest and carry the chest over to the left, then set your body back down. At this point, you can play with the position of the arms. Let it be most comfortable for you. To take it a little deeper, you would walk your feet slightly to the left. Grounding into the wall with the legs. We're going to be here for 5 or 6 breaths. Even inhale and exhale. As always, if something doesn't quite feel right, change it or step out of the pose. We're going to help ourselves gently out of the pose by bringing the hands behind the head. And on an exhale, bringing the chin back towards the chest, walking the sternum back to alignment, bringing the feet back to alignment, releasing the head. And take a moment to let the legs flop open, spilling wider than sitting bone. And just notice what you feel. Prepare for the second side, bringing those feet into mountain pose, reclining mountain. Inhale, both arms overhead while you root the tailbone towards the heels. And with your exhale, hands behind the head, lifting chin to sternum, carrying the chest to the right. Letting the arms spill out, maybe walking the feet slightly to the right if you want a little bit more. And then letting go. Please don't feel weird if something is not right to you. Improvise, change it up a little bit, trust your body. If the legs need to be bent, let them be that way. The arms can be folded across the chest. Lots of options. Last couple of breaths here on this side. And then we'll bring the hands to the back of the head, and on an exhale, round the chin towards the chest, carrying the chest back to the center. Walk the feet wider than sitting bone distance. Let them flop open if that feels right to you. And let your body spill into a brief Shavasana here. Letting the body rebound and reset. We'll slide the soles of the feet back to the ground. And again, rock to one side, transitioning gently up to seated. So we're going to come into a little stretch for the front of the legs. This can be done a couple of different ways. One way is with the right shin in front of you and the left thigh out to the side, letting yourself come on to the right elbow, and then bending that leg in front of you, taking hold and bringing the thumb to rest against the bottom of the big toe, and then sitting here and just taking a few breaths, feeling the front of the thigh lengthen with the leg floating. The other option for you is to do this on your belly. I actually prefer it this way myself. If you're able to take hold, you can even take hold a little bit lower on the shin and breathe. And we'll gently release. Everybody finding your way onto your belly. Stack your palms underneath your forehead. And then you can go right into the second side if you're doing this pose on the belly. Bending the right leg, reaching around and taking hold. Finding a good place for the hand. Imagining a weight on your hips, gently sinking the hips towards earth. If you're doing this pose from up here, gently activating that leg. And then we'll all meet up in crocodile pose. That's just lying on the belly. With the palms underneath the forehead. Let the heels get wider than the toes. So you're actually going to let the heels rock out off of the yoga mat. And then finding your way up onto the elbows. I'm going to shift the weight onto the right leg and take the left knee out to the side with the heel in line with the knee, and then help ourselves back down onto the stacked palms. As much as you can, let the chest soften. And gently come back up onto those elbows, lengthening that leg away from you. Bring the legs back to the center and let the hips rock side to side. Nice, easy rocks. And then we'll shift the weight onto that left elbow, bending the right leg, taking the foot out in line with the knee, making some adjustments. As you come back to the center, you'll feel an opening through the groin and the inner thigh muscle, but there should not be a strain on the joint or the muscle. So if there is, you'll lengthen this leg a little bit more, or you might change the angle with the foot coming in like a tree pose. You can play with that. And then help yourself out and down, resting on the forehead. We'll be here for 6 breaths. Last full breath. And gently ease those elbows in underneath your shoulders, rocking the weight off of that leg. Let it lengthen. Allow the hips to rock side to side. And then we're going to come into a big earth hug. So for that, the legs are going to get a little wider than the mat. The arms are going to spread out, big hands. Just rest on one cheek for 3 breaths, hugging the earth. Letting it hug you back. Gently re-lengthen the spine, turning to rest on the other cheek. And lengthen the spine. Bringing yourself back to center. We're going to ease onto our backs. If you know that you would like a prop underneath the thighs for final relaxation, you can use one of the 2 that you've already set aside and place that underneath the backs of the thighs. We're going to do a little hand yoga before we completely let go. So we're going to join the first finger and thumb lightly with all the other fingers spread. And we're going to place this on our low belly, heels a little wider than sitting bone distance, elbows at ease, eyes gently closed. This is a grounding position for the hands. Feel how the low belly rises and falls with each breath for 3 more rounds. release that position from the hands, letting the arms spill open. Give your body's weight completely to Mother Earth. You deserve it, I promise. Try saying inwardly to yourself for these first 5 rounds of breath and your final relaxation. Thank you for your support. Each time you exhale, saying that inwardly towards yourself and towards the ground. Thank you for your support. So you are in final relaxation. I am sitting and minding the clock for you. Allow your breath to massage your body from the inside out. Each breath making more space for peace.